Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 13 of NaNoWriMo and episode 13 of Prisma Arena, the animated series. We're now in season 2, episode 6. So technically, we've kind of got like 2 episodes left in this series because I tend to run them over 7 episodes. I will say before we begin that we received some tragic news yesterday, so this episode may be a little bit more somber, depending on what kind of, because I notice stuff always comes through in the stories that I tell with Untold. But yeah, I still want to keep this going. I kind of committed to doing this, so I'm going to run today's episode. So I'm just to get myself back into the frame of it all, I'm going to run kind of through a couple of things and just to kind of bring us up to speed and get my brain back into gear for this episode. So I'm going to switch to the notes view, I think. Yeah. So first thing we have to do is, we need to update Falloon's character sheet. They're due to gain some new specials. I also want to kind of recap on the kind of threads that we have kind of left over to see how many of them we can tie up in these next 2 episodes. So I'll maybe start with this actually. So in terms of the threads, I've been kind of keeping a list here of what ones are open. And so one from the last season with Eleanor is the purpose of the Prisma Shard. Like, why was it hidden? And this is the one that the merchants had, and it was stolen by the Water Boys. So we know it's in their position at the moment. And that links us to another thread over here, which is the Water Boys want the Guardians to show them how to power the Prisma Shard. I think by hook or by crook. So we'll see. But they want, they need someone basically, and they have it in their heads that they're going to get the Guardians to show them whilst they're in town to show them how to do this. We still have the Council of Hope have been captured by the Bringers, and it's been kept quiet, but it's become public now, and as a result, all of the kind of cities in Sullus are in kind of defense mode, and they've all, I think, remember, they kind of they rose up and returned to kind of being floating city ships. The Infinity Coalition are experimenting on children with Prisma in Keyport, and that came out from episode 3 or 4, I think it was. The tensions between the Bazee and the Rangers of Hendon are at boiling point. There was an attempted raid to kind of take back Hendon Forest by the Bazee, and it was stopped. Jisan, our kind of main character for this season, is kind of meant to be going to Beacon to train and learn how to basically focus and control their Prisma, because I have another note here as a result of the last episode that Jisan is at risk. Kind of last episode, they were kind of touched by despair, and they managed to kind of not eliminate it, but they basically kind of overcame it, but with a massive outburst, which Jisan isn't quite in control of their powers, and he poses risks to the people around him. Then we have the Ravona, so the Ninja Ravens are in league with the merchants, and so they've been kind of working together. And that was in terms of I think, and they're and they're working with the Despair. So I don't know if they're just like free agents or not. They're in league. we have the Merchants Guild want to retrieve the Prisma Shard that the Water Boys have stolen. And Mjora, who is a member of the Ninja Ravens, is on the loose. She escaped during the last episode as well, and is a potential threat. But I think going into this episode, my goal is to get to Beacon, I think, in this episode. So Falloon, the researcher, is going to have two specials. I think as well that they are... So in terms of what's happened, they've been tasked with... they were kind of a point of contact, and they've been asked to keep an eye out for any information about the whereabouts of the council. But I'm going to see. I wonder if it's something they've maybe been gifted. I kind of feel like they should have got that pin as well from the basically kind of pin, which is a kind of a friend of the Terrapins. I think she's definitely got that, and I think I'm gonna just kind of roll this to see what else. So that's an item. So she needs to get companion, area of expertise, or knowledge, or ability, or power. I think the... Yeah, so I think the Guardians, because they're traveling to... meant to be traveling to Beacon, and I'm just going to bring up the kind of top notes and dice. So I think because they're traveling to Beacon, I think the Guardians give Fluent some kind of a weapon to help them, and I am going to say she's not very kind of or it is it, I thought it was Natalia. I've got the names mixed up. I think it's Natalia. I've got the wrong name here. She's not very kind of martial, so I think I'm going to give her, it's a weapon, and I'm going to say it is a... So, I mean, it could either be a blaster with this icon here. I think a spear is a bit too kind of clumsy. I don't know if it's a... I don't think a bow is going to work for them. I think the Terrapan have worked with the... So the Apothecary has worked with the Guardians, and they've basically created these kind of like orbs that have different effects based, because they kind of contain Prisma, but there's also kind of component elements in it with it that generate different effects. So I'm just going to call them... I'm going to call them Prisma bulbs, I think. And they have different effects. I'm going to leave it open so that we can kind of call on what we want when we need it during the episode. Okay, so that's that done. Kind of mentally getting my kind of head into space. They are due to head to Beacon. So I think they are on the road. I think they've departed and taken a... I think they've taken a bugler, because that's what, if you think about it, that's what Jasan is comfortable with. That was his job back in River Deep, is it? Locations in Greenlight. So back in Greenlight, he basically kind of cleared out the dung from the Buglars. So I think, given the choices, he's taken a Buglar. So I think they're en route to Beacon, and let's see what happens then along the way. So I'm going to flip over the first tile, and I'm going to switch this back to top down dice. So at some location, a threat is pursuing someone or something. So our heroes depart Glorthan, which is it's hovering high in the sky, and the Guardians say goodbye. Is it Dika, the young girl, runs up and gives Jazan and Nadalia a big hug and wishes them goodbye, and they kind of, with a tear in their eye, the Buglar launches off the port and takes off. So, though as I said that, I just realized, like, I'm leaving Glorthan with all of these like threads not tied up. So I wonder if something's going to keep them there for a little bit longer. As they travel, and they are okay, so they're en route, and as they pass through, I'm going to call it the Timeless Valley. As they're passing through the Timeless Valley, they see I think they see some kind of herders, like shepherds, and they are pursuing something. So they're chasing something to the valley. So we're flying overhead and we're looking down, and we can kind of see the calling and the kind of shouts and the warnings as they are trying to get into position, and they're armed. And I noticed that they're being kind of very cautious about it. They are. So I'm going to use this. So the shepherds are attacking someone or something. So I'm going to not attacking, they're pursuing, they're chasing something through the fields. And so I can kind of see as I'm looking down, they are, I guess they're mounted as well, and they are chasing something then, and I can just see the kind of a shape flitting through the tall grasses. I can't get a better look at it. So I'm going to persuade, try and persuade Nadalia to let me go and take a closer look at what's going on by kind of flying down closer. So No, she refuses. She's kind of arguing quite strongly that it's none of our business and that we have to keep going. So I look down to see, I lean kind of over to try and get a closer look and see what is going on. So, who or what are they pursuing? I think it's a... Okay, I think it is a strange kind of amorphous creature that's a blend of different things. So it kind of eerily reminds me of the creature we saw in Greenlight before, which is where I actually met Nadalia, that strange creature that was being experimented on, and that the Infinity Coalition were trying to create. This looks like one of them, and it's nothing I've ever been told about. When I went to school and was learning about the kind of creatures of Sullus, and I think I'm gonna say it's kind of like it's a horned creature, almost like a rhinoceros, maybe running on 2 feet, and it's sorry, I just had another idea for something that I was like, should I introduce that now or not? So it's kind of like a horned creature, almost like a rhinoceros. It's running on 2 feet, and I think it's got like a kind of more reptilian tail. So it's almost like a cross between a crocodile and a rhinoceros. And it is... I'm going to throw it out. I think it's furry as well. It's got more fur as well. So they're chasing after this thing as it's kind of like bound, running as fast as it can through the field, and it's trying to, for now, it's trying to outrun the shepherds who are chasing after it. And I think it's wounded as well, as they're kind of bearing down on it, because essentially the shepherds should be a threat in this story. So they're, the reception right now is they are the kind of the danger. So they are kind of bearing down on this, and I turned to Nadalia and I pointed it and said, that we can't ignore this. And she agrees, and so I think we fly down closer on the Buglar. And let me see. I think we're going to fly in closer, I think, to get a closer look. Trying to get it, fly and hover within a safe distance to be able to call out to the shepherds. No, but so we're not able to get in. I think it's too hard. They're like kind of waving us away, and so someone is... How is anger beneficial? I think the so I'm trying to think, maybe they actually so the shepherds were kind of like all kind of head up in their anger and were ready to kind of kill this creature, and we so I think we say to them that like we know where this is from, like we can help you. And they kind of, their initial anger starts to kind of like ease off, and so, well, they're saying this thing has killed our flock. If you don't do something about it, we're going to kill it. So they're giving us a window of opportunity. So I think we're going to get a bit closer, and I'm going to summon Grova, the Affectionate, and try and calm the this creature down. And again, by kind of manifesting Grova, the Affectionate, it's kind of making clear my intention. That's kind of, I think, what happens with the Imokana. It kind of makes our feelings and intentions a little bit clearer as to what's going on inside us. So I should have been turning my action tokens here. So I'm going to summon Grova in an attempt to calm the creature down. Okay, so I think it kind of responds positively. And I ask the shepherds, how do they discover this creature? And how did it come to be here? They say we don't know. We were having a I think kind of we were just kind of celebrating last night. That because we've been driving the animals. Maybe they're on their way to Beacon, and they've been driving their herd forward. And we did have a name actually for some of the kind of cow-like creatures here, and they were called. No, I'd definitely written it down. Hang on, where did I have that? I'll have to dig it out. I had a name for these creatures. I'm gonna call them Mukas, which is their name for a cow. So cow-like creature. So they were herding their Mukas across the valley, and they had stopped for the night, and they were kind of having some drinks when they heard the noises, and it had kind of torn through their camp. So they don't really know where it came from. So I think Natalia thinks if this is what we think it is and where we think it's from, the Infinity Coalition, it is going to be tagged in some way. And I think she uses her Prisma pad as a kind of a scanner, to check and see if there's any kind of tracking device or identifier on the creature. Okay, so there is, but she apologizes, I think, because she so there's definitely something in there, and it is, I think it confirms that it's kind of it's genetically manufactured. But she said, this is too complex for me. I can't. I'm not going to be able to crack, basically trace back where the signal is going to in the tracking device for this creature. But we have confirmed, I think, that it is something that was created by the Infinity Coalition. And it's not human. So I think we need to get it to Beacon. So I think we ask the shepherds if they will help us to basically contain it in a way that we can transport it to Beacon. Okay, so they say we can't help you with this, but if you go to so I'm going to use this as a location. If you go to I want to say Weeping Hollow, but I can't remember if that exists as a place or not. But if you travel on to the settlement at Weeping Hollow, they will be able to help you with that. So we've got a new location, which is Weeping Hollow. So in terms of location, we have I forgot what I called it. There's something Valley and Weeping Hollow. In Valley. And that's like a settlement. They said there's going to be a maybe it's the kind of blacksmith there will be able to help you. Okay. So I think we travel to Sleeping Hollow. And I think they say they're going there as well. That's kind of underway. So we travel with them to Sleeping Hollow. And I think along the way, I'm going to ask them, have you seen any signs of despair here? I think they're going to say that their faces just turn very somber at this point, and they say a number of children were captured by the Ravona, the Ninja Ravens, and taken to the spare and to the bringers. And we just don't have the means. Like, that's bigger than us. We can't deal with that. And I think as a result, they're saying that this despair is beginning to take hold in their kind of I don't know if tribe is the right word, but they're kind of their herd group as they're traveling along. And they just like, we want to get to Beacon, and see hope and know that something positive is coming. So we arrive at the, so basically, actually, it's another thread that kind of the Ravona took children from the valley. And I'm going to, I think I promise we'll do whatever we can. We've had encounters with the Ravona. I don't think we have the means to stop them, but I'll report it to my father, who is a member, who is the leader of the Rangers. And I think they're kind of grateful and saying, will you? Oh, thank you for that. And then some, I think, are skeptical as well, going, yeah, what have they ever done to help us? So we get to the Weeping Hollow, and we go and find the blacksmith there and ask them if they have anything that will help us to transport the this creature. So actually, we have another creature. We need to give that a name. It is it doesn't really have a name. So I'm just going to call it an infinity spawn. And this is the kind of rhino. So I'm just kind of writing it here in my notes so you can see. So I'm just going to call it the kind of rhino croc hybrid. I think that other creature was killed, the one from the previous episode. So I'm going to ask them for help and see if they have something that we can use to help us transport it along. So he does. Okay, so I think he says it'll kind of take some time, but the blacksmith, who I'm going to call, oh my god, we're out of characters. That filled up pretty quick. I am going to call, let me see. So I always try to, like, I look for different letters and then try and start from there. And I'm looking at the ones who've done lots of A's. Maybe Bakar. Who's the blacksmith? The BB will in Weeping Hollow. So yeah, we kind of explained we're going to take this creature away and we're going to bring it to Beacon. I think Medallia has the money to kind of to pay for this, but they construct this kind of holding cage that we are able to. I don't think we're going to be able to fly with the bugler, but I think the bugler can kind of pull it along. So yeah, I mean, bugler is quite big. I'm going to say it can. So it can fly and it's kind of strapped underneath. And I think we're able to sedate the creature as well, to be able to transport it. Okay. But the plot thickens, and we discover the shepherds are up to something else. I think they are okay. Yeah, let's keep it with that. So I think I'm going to go to the top-down view. So I think I wake kind of in the middle of the night. So we're kind of resting as we're preparing for the trip the next day, and I wake and I still have that feeling of, I can remember that feeling of despair in my body, and that feeling kind of where I received the cut, the gash, and I wake in a sweat, and as I look around the kind of the sleeping area, because we're kind of sharing it, I think, with the shepherds, I see a number of New Hawk kind of gathered around some of them. And so New Hawk embodies jealousy. So I think they are kind of looking at us. And I hear them talking about what they could do if they had their hands on the Buglar. That they said, we could travel much further by day, and we could scout ahead for finding animals. It's far more useful for us than it is to them. And haven't we suffered enough with the loss of our children? This is maybe this is a sign. This is something that we can take for ourselves. And I want to check and see, is kind of is everyone on board with this? Yeah, I don't see anything to convince me otherwise. I think, yeah, I hear that they're plotting. They're going to wait until. So, I mean, they're on board because they say, like, we need the money more than anybody. So I'm looking at this one here. And they are, yeah, I think they're going to wait until. So everyone's on board, yes, and they are going to wait until we are passing through the. So I'm going to use this kind of trapdoor as their kind of. There's a ravine that we have to go through on the way out of the valley to get out into the kind of the back onto the grasslands as we get to head towards Beacon. And they said that's the point where they are going to kind of set the trap to capture us. So yeah, they're all on board. There's nothing really that can help us. So what question could I ask that might be useful here? So I'm lying in bed. So I think that's kind of it. I think I'm gonna have to get up and out of here early in the morning before they have a chance. So what I'm gonna ask is Natalia aware of what's happening? So I kind of roll over to see if they're awake or not. Yeah, I think she is wide awake. And actually, so I'm going to build on what they said. So I'm going to use the idea token because I'm seeing the Merchants Guild. So I think they're actually going to, it's not just the bugler they're after. I think they're going to basically hand us over to the, sorry, it's not the Merchants Guild. The, nope, scrap that. I'm just going to leave it because I'm kind of forced into it. So she's awake and she's aware of what's going on. Okay. So we need to get out of here. Yeah. So I think it's morning. We pack up, we act as if everything is normal. I could have asked the question last time. Oh, but I moved on. Yeah, so I think it's morning time and we pack up and we're we head out. But I make sure both Natalia and I, we make sure our weapons are primed. So I've got my Prisma shield and my axe, and she has her kind of bulbs, and we make sure we kind of hide them so they're not kind of obvious. And we don't want to really act suspicious. And I think we set out. And we so I'm going to use that kind of upside down shape to kind of represent the ravine. So as we head towards the ravine, and we get closer, we I think it's actually before we get to the ravine. More of these. I'll try this. Yeah, instead of overcomplicating it, I think the shepherds ambushes, and they turn on us and try to they gather around and basically tell us to kind of hand over the bugler. And I think there's people kind of standing up in the hills. We see them stepping forward. So maybe it's a trap. They haven't quite captured this yet. We see them stepping out onto the trap, or onto the kind of buff of the ravine, and they're looking down. And the one or two who've been kind of riding with us, they draw their swords as well. No, damn. I think they're going to have daggers, I think, more than swords. And they I'm gonna just see, is there any kind of visible escape route near us? Or what are our escape options? Okay. Ooh. Just that wasn't the one that was on. So I think there's two possible options. We could either, there's three. I think we can try and take off and gain some height. We can kind of climb up the buff to try and take out because there's fewer up there if we move fast enough to take out the ones on top, or I'm gonna say that we kind of run deeper into the ravine to escape. So I think I'm going to I think with my I think we've been planning for this. I think so. First thing is Nadalia is going to use one of her kind of Prisma bulbs and throw it, and it's essentially it's a kind of a smoke bomb. Actually, it's more like a flash bomb. So when it bursts, it creates a burst of light designed to kind of stun. So I think she's going to throw that once we cover our eyes. Okay, and I think it fails. I think it kind of hits and rolls, and it goes off, but it's kind of like protected by a rock, so we don't actually gain any of the benefit from it. So they're gonna they see now that we kind of know what's going on. I am going to, I think, I'm going to use I don't want to throw the axe because I want to get it back. What else have I got that might help me? Prisma shield, the throwing axe, blend in. I think I am going to drop down. No, I think I'm going to have to throw the axe. I think because it's kind of my life is at risk here. I am going to throw the axe and try and, as part of the kind of on the bluff, the ravine, I'm going to throw out the rocks, some of the overhanging rocks, and see if I can dislodge them with the kind of an explosion from that. Okay, so I do, and I think that's me kind of sneering. I think basically the rocks crumble, and the people who are standing up on the bluff, they basically fall down, and it blocks the others who were beginning to surround us as well. So I think we are going to ride for it as fast as we can. So we're going to try and outrun them with the buglar. Okay, so we get some distance. But I think so. I'm looking at this, the kind of thing. I think I see people who are they're injured, and I don't think I'm kind of the kind of person who's going to I kind of feel a bit bad about that. because I realize that they're kind of suffering, and what's happening is just going to make their life worse. So, like, if we do this, we're just going to perpetuate the myth of there's those who are going to suffer and there's those who benefit. And so as we're kind of running away, I look at Natalia and she looks at me, and we what do we do? I think I'm going to turn back and help I think we're going to move some of the rubble out of the way and try and free them. Okay, so we managed to do that, but they basically say, we're fools. Why didn't you just leave us here? And I don't think they take. Yeah. They think we're idiots. They just think, why on earth would you do this? And I try to, maybe I offer to help them. Let's say if I contact my father and ask for the help of the Rangers with rescuing our children, would that help? Like, will that just I think no, actually, do you know what? I think I grab Nadalia's kind of pad communicator and contact my father and report to them what's happened. That there's these shepherds and they attacked us, and that their children have been taken, and that he needs to help with that. So I think he agrees, but I think the shepherds aren't that impressed because, well, I've just told that the son of the leader of the Rangers of Hendon that they had tried to kind of attack and steal from them. And I also think my father's not impressed. He's like, "Are you not in Beacon yet?" I'm like, "No, got a little bit sidetracked along the way." So, okay, so let's see. Okay, so they're working for someone. Okay, so I think after seeing how I was willing to help them, they I think they kind of like apologize, but they're not going to like not do this. They say that they had been ordered. They were actually being paid by the Infinity Coalition. So I'm going to use this as the kind of science lab research thing. So they had been paid by them to retrieve this the creature, and that they're basically playing dumb with us, and that they had promised to protect them because they didn't know what else to do. So they had basically promised that they would help them to retrieve their children, but they haven't really. Well, they haven't come. No, they promised they would help them to find their children. But us, after having heard how we were talking about them, they are less inclined to kind of, I think, work with the Infinity Coalition. So they're just as bad as everyone else, trying to, profit from this time of despair. And it's people like us, the farmers and the shepherds. Our children go missing and nobody cares. It's all just a game to them. So I asked him, like, what else have the coalition asked you to do? I think we were to meet them. So we were basically meant to retrieve the creature and meet them at the let me see, we're trying to head towards Beacon. This is where I really need to draw a map of where everything is and the directions in which we're going. But they say that they so I'm looking at my icons around to see if there's anything I can use my modifier to get. I think they just said that they would come find us, that we were to notify them when we had retrieved the creature. And so we told them we had, because we had expected to, we didn't think it'd be so much trouble. And so they say they should be here kind of anytime now. And yeah, I think they kind of warn us and say, like, you need to get out of here. And that they'll deal with the consequences from the coalition. So I think we're not too far from Beacon. Maybe a day journey. Okay, so I think at like we head at full pace towards Beacon, with the Buglar, and we're flying. And I think on the way there, we I think a ship, so kind of flying transport, kind of flies in above us, and I think it kind of so it's kind of flying transport ship, about the size of a truck, I guess. So kind of big enough to hold the bugler and this creature. And it basically kind of swoops in and starts following us. And they, I think it literally fires a. I think someone leans out of the side, and they've got one of those kind of. It's a kind of like a net gun, and they fire this net that basically kind of wraps over us, and the bugler kind of falls from the sky. And I think we're going to see if we can kind of land safely. So we tried to maneuver and land in a safe spot. Okay, so we managed to kind of get to the ground safely. I'm going to say I still have my axe because I went back to help. So they've captured us. So the ship kind of comes down and lands in front of us, and they order us to hand over the creature. And I think at the same time, so I want to include the kind of shepherds as well. Kind of figure out how they're going to fit in. I can let my brain work. So the ship lands, and I think actually Falloon steps out, who's a member of the coalition, and says, "Natalia, so good to see you." And Natalia is looking at them going, what are you doing? And she, I think Natalia is actually going to rush Falloon. And kind of pretends to kind of greet them, but is actually going to try and I think kind of take a punch to the jaw or the stomach. So she's going to kind of play along and greet them and try and take them out. So swings a punch, manages to land it, but I think that is response. So I think the others who have stepped out of the ship, I think there's maybe kind of like henchmen, step out, and they all kind of raise, I think like the equivalent of cattle prods, and they're crackling with energy. So that's her look of kind of horror. I think at this point the shepherds have the shepherds actually kind of come out of the ship as well. And they say, they threaten us. So there's different things that could happen. They could either, why would they want to threaten us? So I have them there, and so they want to kind of threaten or spread rumors, or accuse us of something. And they, well, I think they kind of play the innocent, and they say that they stole, they accuse of basically stealing the creature from them. They had it, and we're to you. We weren't strong enough to protect them, or to keep it from them. And I think when Falloon recovers, she kind of looks and goes, "This woman and this child, was too much for you. But they are, yeah, I think I am going to. I don't think disappearing is going to work at this point. I think I'm going to see if Nadalia can again use one of her Prisma bulbs to create a distraction, and I think the shepherd's actually saying, "Oh, watch out for that person," and at the same moment, she manages to kind of pull out one of the bulbs, and I think I didn't have time to cover my eyes, and so I'm wandering around. I'm slightly blinded by this, but the others are the same. So I think in this case, Nadalia is going to, I think, grab me and run for cover. Well, I think she's going. No, I think she's going to send out an SOS signal to, because we're close to Beacon. She just put a call out for any guardians in the area who can come and assist. No. And I think as she's on the call, one of the henchmen just kind of jabs her with the rod, and kind of like the cattle prod, and she kind of collapses to the ground. So it is just me left. I gotta reset these. So I need to get away from them. I think, what am I gonna do? I think it's in the cage. I don't know if I'd get it out of the cage in time. I think I need to use my Prisma. Always ends with me doing something drastic with my Prisma. So I'm going to summon let me see. Actually, I think I'm going to try and, so I'm kind of temporarily blinded, and I think I'm going to try and actually get into their ship, because I think if they don't have that, they can't go anywhere. And so they're all out of the ship, I think. So I'm going to try and, while their focus is on the Dahlia, I'm going to run in. I'm going to summon Sana, who is kind of happiness and resilience. So despite kind of being blinded, I'm going to keep going. And using my kind of sneaking, my ability to kind of like not be noticed, try and get into the ship, I think. And okay, so I succeed, but I can't leave. I'm kind of reminded. I see Nadalia, and she sees me, and I can see that she is kind of suffering. So I can't just go with the ship. I think I'm going to. So what I'm going to try and do is, well, using the I got my Prisma accent shield. I think I'm going to do the. I think with the help of Donna, who's the confident one. Or is it New Hawk, the jealous one? I think it's Donna. I'm going to punch in. What's that? Just wondering if I can kind of make the ship kind of switch into autopilot. One action to tie all this up. Oh, I gotta figure it out. What can I do? So they've got Natalia. I'm away from the Buglar. So I think I'm going to have to just try and I'm going to say, like, by having kind of worked in that kind of transport hub in Greenlight, that I am going to sorry, I'm looking at the location. This Greenlight, yeah. So in Greenlight, I'm seeing people coming and going. I've some kind of like just enough, like, press this button, pull this thing, and yeah, I kind of probably maybe persuaded people to let me do this kind of stuff when I was younger. It's like the equivalent of driving tractors. I've had access to these things when I was younger, and I am going to try and take control of the ship and use it to scatter the members of the Infinity Coalition, the thugs, Falloon, and the shepherds, using the weapons that are mounted on board. No, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and just swoop back in and grab Natalia and scoop up the Buglar and the creature that's still attached to it. Fingers crossed, last ending. So I think as I tried to do it, Donna appears beside me and is like, "You can do it." Yeah, let's see. No, I don't. And I think so. Okay, I'm going to end the episode with, as I'm doing it, I feel the pressure of something cold in the back of my neck, and a voice saying, "I don't think you want to do that." And it's a shadowy figure, so we don't see who it is. Yeah, I think we're going to end it there. So I think, yeah, it's just as I'm as I'm kind of getting all the gears going and getting it going, this person steps up and yeah, I think my hands are still on wheel, are kind of on the controls, and I think Dawn immediately just like disappears. My confidence is just evaporated completely. And I think it's a dun, dun, dun moment. And I'm going to end it there, I think. So much for getting to Beacon. One last episode to hopefully do it. And Yes. Well, I have no idea how this is going to end up, but in terms of threads, then, so we have, God, everybody's working for everybody. We have the shepherds kind of in pay. They're kind of the Infinity Coalition. We're basically trying to get this creature, it's called an Infinity Spawn, to Beacon. And I'm going to say I call it, I think we give it a nickname. I'm going to call him Croco. Crocorono. No, just Croco. I think we're just going to call him Croco. And so that's the kind of loose set. So I think that's kind of it. We weren't able to reach the Guardians in the area. And we're about a day out from Beacon. Last episode tomorrow. I wonder what's going to happen. Yeah, so I hope you've been enjoying this so far. Again, I kind of dive straight in, but just as a reminder, we are playing with Untold Adventures Await, which is a game I co-designed with John Fiore, along with Prisma Arena, which is the game in which we're kind of the game world in which we're telling our episodes. Both are available to buy from We Are Hub Games or any good retailer. It's also powered by Story Cubes, another creation of mine, and you can buy them in all good stores as well. They're a great way of kind of mixing up the stories. I will be back online later on with Michael, and we'll be playing Prisma Arena. We've been playing it over the last couple of weeks, and we've been leveling up our characters. And hopefully today is the day when I become a guardian. Hang on, I'm going to show my crossed fingers. Because I have, I'm going to switch back. Whilst I have been kind of thrashing Michael, let's be honest, he actually managed to reach Guardian level first because he was able to work with all of his emotions. I still haven't been able to kind of work with affection yet. So hopefully today I'll have that and I'll attain my Guardian level, and so I can access my kind of full Prisma powers. So yeah, and all of the episodes are available on the YouTube. We have a playlist created to capture them all there. We are on day 13. Tomorrow is day 14. Day 15 will mark the halfway point, and I'll feel like I've really kind of achieved something on that day. So yeah, so I think that's it. Just a quick reminder, you can find us on all of the social medias as We Are Hub Games. And you can find me as Rory O'Connor. Again, if you like the video, click like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day.